give you some more examples here. So there's two, really, I would say there's kind of two major classes of examples that we ask you about. And the one class of examples, you're given a formula, you got to work with it, right? The other class of examples, you're given a graph and you're supposed to extract information from it, right? So let's look at both. I'll start with the formula. Suppose we're given f of x equals the square root of 3x plus 8. Find the domain. How would you do that? Do what? Die. No. Dying is so overrated. It's been done. Right? I mean, like you should be like, become a zombie or something. Well, that's been done too. You know, like a lot. I knew zombies had gone mainstream when my sister-in-law started watching that zombie show. You know? Anyway. So what we need is for this formula to make sense, right? How can we make the formula make sense? There are basically two things we've got to avoid. Two cautions, right? One is dividing by 0. This is bad. The other is square root of negative number. So those are the two major things we're avoiding in our formulas. No division here, right? So we just need that 3x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 0, right? Square root of 0 is fine. That's just 0. So we need the input to the square root to be non-negative. Good news, we already know how to solve that. That's what we did last week, right? So you get 3x greater than or equal to minus 8. So x is greater than or equal to minus 8/3. So my domain, it would appear, is minus 8/3 included all the way on out to infinity. There you go. You don't like this class. When to use the infinity thing? So think about a number line and think about like minus 8/3 and picture it. X is greater than minus 8/3, right? So that means like x is over here, right? So the solution is like that, and that's why we go to infinity. If we had had x less than or equal to minus 8/3, we would have gone to minus infinity. So like I usually tell people, like, if you had a wallet with a picture of your children, you showed people it, and they would not know, like no one would look at your children and go, oh, they're hideous, right? But people are perfectly willing to say the same thing about mathematical children. Like I share beautiful math with people, and then they're just like, it's hideous, it's horrible, and it offends me deeply. But you guys are unapologetic. You have no qualm about talking how hideous my mathematical children are. It saddens me. This is even common among pastors. Pastors are generally polite people, but they will speak badly of math. Openly. How dare they? Hey, let me do another. It's not a fan. Okay. I'll get over it. A graphical example. Yeah, I definitely have till 3:15. There's like 8 more minutes of class, unless my watch has been messed with by my 6-year-old, which is a distinct 7-year-old. 6 more minutes of class. This is like, I've seen so many. All right, so here we're given a picture which describes a function. And let me put some more information here. This is like -6, -3. This point up here is, let's say, 2, comma 1. This point down here is 2, comma -2 maybe. And that point here, I'll make that 4, comma 1. All right? So this is what you're given. You're given a picture of the graph of the function. And then I can ask you questions like, what's the domain of the function? I can ask you another question like, what's the value of the function at 2? Maybe you can tell me this. What is f of 2 equal to? Start with that. What's f of 2 equal to in this picture? I'm actually introducing the notation to you, so let me tell you. When we write this solid dot, that means that that's the point that's included in the graph. And because this is the graph of a function, right, I'm saying that this is y equals f of x. So that means that this point is really 2, comma, f of 2. So this and that have to match up. In other words, f of 2 is -2 because of the graph which is given. All right? And then, well, I mean, we can do other ones. Like, I'll be trickier. How about f of -6? What does this open circle mean? Right, yeah, that's not a part of the graph. So in fact, f of -6 is undefined. So what's the domain? So we go -6, inputs all the way over to 2 included. And then there's one more point, right? I threw in 4, comma 1 on the graph, right? So it's very strange, but I've unioned this with the set just containing the number 4. If I wrote this in the other notation, we could say x such that x is equal to 4, or -6 is less than x is less than or equal to 2, if you wanted to describe that domain using the set builder notation, you could do that. What's the range? Oh, by the way, I let you guys have a sheet of notes for the test. So, because I've heard other instructors saying they'll do that. So, although they were pre-calculus instructors, so I might be wrong, but I think that's reasonable for you guys because, you know, just to help. You're like, well, what can I put on the sheet? Well, whatever you like. I do ask that it would be a sheet no bigger than like these, and please write on at most 2 sides. I mean, I don't know. I had a person, I allowed 3x5 cards into class once, and they found a way to take it apart and write in the middle. Like, because it's got ply and you can like pull, yeah, I've seen it done. So don't do that. And no writing on the edges either. So just 2 sides. Maybe you could find a really thick piece of paper. I don't know. I know what students will think of, I don't even know. Now you might say like, well, what can I put on the paper? You put on whatever you want. I mean, you can Elizabeth in poetry if you like, or the lyrics from that awesome scene in The Matrix where Morpheus talks about, you know, what is science or whatever. I mean, whatever you like. You could put examples that we've done in class, right, to remind you like how we solve things. It's really up to you. I won't provide it for you, though. You have to write it yourselves and bring it to class. I'm still waiting for the answer. What's the range? You thought I forgot about it. I didn't forget about that. What's the range? What do I got? I go from -3 not included, right? and then all the way up to almost getting to 1 here, right? This 2 is already covered. See, this 2 is covered twice, right? So even though the 1 doesn't get covered here, it does get covered over here. See, because this means that f of 4 is equal to 1. And so we go from -3 to 1 included. There you go. That would be the range. What's the codomain in this question? The codomain is not Jesus. It is just nothing. There is no codomain. I have not stated the question in such a way that that question even makes sense. Sometimes there is no codomain to talk about. The only way there's a codomain to talk about is if I've introduced the function as like f from a to b like I did in the definition. So
do you give half credit if I put Jesus for the answer to all problems on the test?
this is not Sunday school, so Jesus will not be the answer to everything on these tests, but I appreciate the sentiment. So I see what you did there, though. C minus. C minus. If you're aiming for a C minus, you better aim for like a B, just to be safe. Thanks, guys.